It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And we are back to finally wrap up 90 Day Fiance in one hell of a season. Guys, this season was intense, but I probably have to say the tell-all was my favorite part. Just to be fair, I feel like the tell-all is usually my favorite part, but there's a lot that we have to unpack here. Between Andrew and Amira and Andrew, whatever the storyline was that had so many loopholes in it that I'm not quite understanding, to also Mike and Natalie, and what did Natalie actually say to Mike's best friend? I'm curious here. And just to be fair, Tariq and Hazel, Tariq had one valid point. We have all of these couples who are a bunch of twosomes on this show who can't get along, and they're all concerned about his polyamorous relationship or lack thereof. Because we know that Minty is no longer a part of the relationship as per Hazel, because Hazel was, in my opinion, getting jealous. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to see if you guys want to join me. And after I do, I say we jump right in and start just breaking apart what exactly this tell-all looked like. Hold on. Also, guys, in the meantime, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. I see Kimpire's in the room. I see Not Paid by Monique, Shannon Van, Susan Brass Gross, Kaya D, Ghostly Gamer, my favorite people. Guys, go ahead, join me in the conversation, call in, and let's unpack this. I think that we should start with the couple who loves each other the most, Mike and Natalie. This is such a shit show of a couple, and I say that the best way I know how, because this couple is obviously doomed. They're not going to work. Mike and Natalie clearly don't like each other, and I think that's valid. But what we do know is, after talking to Max the Celeb Talk Guy, one of my favorite YouTubers who casually every once in a while comes on and joins me and unpacks a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes of TLC, I think that he made a good point. They are currently filming Happily Ever After. So there is no way that they could give us really what they wanted to say and share or overshare what exactly is happening, the current status of their relationship, because, well, they're going to ruin Happily Ever After for us. Now, what we have heard is that Mike and Natalie are no longer together and that she's living in Seattle. What we also know is she was missing the ring on the tell-all. She said she didn't want to bring it because she didn't want it to get stolen. I don't know how much that ring cost on her finger, but I'm pretty sure nobody's hunting you down like you're Kim K for your jewelry, just to be fair. Now, I do have a few callers in the room, so I'm going to bring them up to help me start unpacking exactly what this looks like. And I guess I'll let them take it from here. Again, guys, before I do, smash that like button. Let's get some more eyes in the room. And here we go. Hi, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh my gosh. I've been watching way too much TV for work.
Hey, that's not a bad thing. That's a good job.
You're right. I shouldn't be complaining, but Lord have mercy. This Tell Nothing was, I looked at the timer on it, like, wait, it's only I call it the Tell Nothing. Have you seen Stephanie's Tell All?
No, where she's doing the couch thing with Stephanie?
Yes.
I saw that she did an interview with Max and she started unpacking the fact that her and Ryan weren't in a real legitimate relationship, that she actually came on the show for, can I say, I don't even know if I'm using this word correctly, but for her own clout, right? She's trying to.
Well, she misused a lot of words in her own sofa talk, so.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think I'm not going to be shady here. She was probably hitting the sauce a little bit, and that was probably where she was missing the mark. No, I mean, that's fair. Everyone loves a good glass of wine, right?
She spoke heavily about that in her sofa talk. She says that she brought witnesses to prove that she doesn't have a problem with the drink.
Okay. I think everybody might have a little bit of a problem sometimes with the drink, and Stephanie doesn't seem like she's missing the mark in any capacity on here. So I just want to say this. I'm not going to completely rip this woman apart because I'm sure filming took its toll on her. She did say that this was one of the worst experiences of her life. And I'm pretty sure, especially after talking to Max, the reason she is not on the couch or a part of the tell-all was because she went against the family. You can't talk about production or the network if you want to have any sort of longevity with the show or TLC. She could have really rode this out and been a part of Discovery Plus, had her own little features here and there. She could have been a part of maybe Pillow Talk, because I think that would have been great. I think she's interesting enough to be a part of that. I don't think she's interesting enough to really be on the show. But she does bring a certain level of Looney Tunes to the show that I think some of us as fans can appreciate.
Some of the fans believe she was the best part of the season. They believe she saved the season.
Well, we do have a very famous K1 Visa rep on the line with us. Should I bring her on?
Of course.
How are you, Miriam? You're always changing your name on here. Not paid by Monique. Something about Rebecca, and now you're a K1 Visa rep. What is going on with you?
Listen, I feel like Monique is not part of the show anymore. Although I still love her, but I feel like I have to stay current, so that you guys take my calls.
Oh, okay. So now today you are our famous K1 Visa rep. I want to start with this couple that we all love so much because I do want to get back into Stephanie, but I want to talk about what you think about these two and kind of like, I guess, what Kempire said, the tell nothing. They really didn't tell anything. And I think Max was right. It was because they're currently filming Happily Ever After and they couldn't overshare.
Kempire's on fire.
Kempire's on fire.
I loved your conversation with Max the other day. So people should go and watch that because Max has a really great energy when he talks about these people.
Oh my gosh. And he gets so passionate too. And he has this way of enunciating, which you have to learn how to like appreciate, where he goes, like I can't even do it, but it entertains me when he delivers his news. I'm like watching it and I'm in it. He like sucks me in. I'm like, shit, I have things
very
to do.
Energetic.
I'm watching all of this.
Listen, yesterday was a hard Sunday. I missed Kempire's live. I watched before I went to bed. I wanted to be prepared for today because there's so much to unpack. Just too much. Married to Medicine, Atlanta, a speak on it, and recaps, and
I'm so mad Speak on is part of the part. That's a YouTube show, and that's a part of her watching. That's great though. Good.
Well, because like Toya was there, LaToya, so that was masterful from Candy. But I digress. You know what? Yesterday I came to the realization. I think Natalie is not all there. Allegedly, I am not a doctor. She was so weird. I feel like she didn't bring the ring because she was afraid Michael would ask her the ring back. And she already knew what was going to happen, that she's going to Seattle. Because let's face it, going to Seattle is not a one-day thing. We saw when Larissa was going to her friend, it's because she shares with her friend everything that happens. And this is how her friend took her in when she got kicked out of Colchi's house.
Right.
So I think she hid the ring because she needs funds, and she wasn't all there. She was playing on him, like the way she was sitting was a flirty. When you first meet someone and you want to sit next to them, and but then again, the looks in her face had nothing to do with her body demeanor.
You look so uncomfortable. And just to be fair, if I was going to see someone who I was currently married to, but I didn't know what that was going to look like, and I knew that they were going to ask me for that ring back, I would be parading that ring around the whole damn tell-all. I'd be like, what are you going to do? Take it off my finger with all these producers here? No, bitch.
Maybe she was scared he would do that after the show, not in front of the cameras. So to stay on the safe side, she came up with this stupid justification that she didn't want it to be like stolen. Hello, we know Michael is like bankrupt. How much did he pay for that? Chances are he got it from a machine,
Okay. To be fair, though, they are still collecting paychecks, and now that they're technically married, we know normally that the American side of the castmates, they usually get the paycheck and then they have to divvy it out to their counterpart however they please, which I don't necessarily think is fair, but now they're married, so they're both getting the paychecks, and she obviously has been around long enough to work, so she has surpassed the 90 days. What is the amount of time after you get married that you have to wait until you can work? Is it 90 more days or is it 60?
It's all about filing your paperwork. You file your paperwork. I never filed for this paperwork, so I'm not going to pretend I know for a fact. But if I wanted, I would. I got pregnant like when I came here, so I didn't have the chance even to think of working.
We're gonna call you Yara.
Yara? You have
to
change your name, K1 Visa rep.
I wish I was as pretty as Yara, but
no, you're as pretty as Yara.
Similar situation. We went to our mini honeymoon in Greece, in Santorini. I came here because I thought, like I thought I was 31 then, that I wouldn't get pregnant that quickly. It's an ignorant like assumption of mine, but I did. And
But it works for some people and it doesn't for others. To be fair, Jason and I have been trying to get pregnant for 7 years. Look, I'm just kidding.
But you know something? This is where I feel like the stereotypes, they are so like unfair. Like like we had like a party in Lebanon, we got married there, and I came pregnant. That doesn't mean and we got married like a month after I came here. We just went to the court, and this is how you officialize your marriage here. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I think just to be fair, when it comes to Yara and Jovi and her getting pregnant, I don't necessarily know if that's what kept her here, but I think it definitely helped. I mean, at first we all started the show off and we really despised Yara. No one liked her. Everyone thought that there was no way you can make this woman happy. She comes off like a spoiled brat. And then as we saw her, I think for the first time when we saw her say goodbye to Jovi when he had to leave for a few months, we started to like her a little bit. And we're like, oh, there's a heart somewhere in there. She's just tough. She's tough.
Did you guys watch the sneak peek on 90 Day The Journey of Yara and Jovi?
No.
I am telling you, it was a long night. I don't know how you guys do. You have channels. I'm a fan of yours. I don't ever see myself having a channel. It was hard work.
Well, if you do, you better stick to one name.
No, well, that's why I have fun changing names, so it's not going to happen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I will be
Those
a
damn
fan.
names.
I will be a fan. The that 90-day journey showed us the context. Just like when they keep a part in the show and they take the other part to make the person look crazy, the same way they did with Kenya, they did with Yara. These two, she got pregnant before and she had a miscarriage. I didn't know that.
And they mentioned that. They mentioned that in the 90-day process.
Yeah, they did. They did mention that because she was upset because she felt like Jovi was nowhere to be found when she was going through her miscarriage, and he was trying to explain, yes, I think I was insensitive, but I didn't realize all of this was going on. It kind of made him look like a little bit of an ass, but this is sort of these are sort of the challenges when you're and I mean, these are the challenges when you're dating someone all the way across the other side of the world. Especially Jovi works for months at a time out of state, out of the country sometimes. So he's always gone. This whole relationship has its challenges. But to be fair, I also don't think that they have the worst relationship on the tell-all. I think
they have the best.
They have, which is kind of crazy because this guy's over here. He's getting lap dances from strippers. He's constantly... I mean, he was drinking up into the point that she was about to give birth. He's not showing up. He's not staying home with his pregnant wife. He's trying to act like he's having his last hurrah, which I cannot wait to see on the Happily Ever After new season, because we know that we're going to get this other side of him that is continuing to party. And he kept making it sound like, listen, I need one last hurrah before we get married. And listen, I need one last hurrah before we have that baby. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know if I want to see that play out again. I just feel like that's just going to be a repetitive of what we saw on 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if I want to see that. I mean, I will be watching. I don't know if I want to see it though.
Yeah, right. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a 90, a 180 in his personality, because he already showed us that how in love he is with his daughter. It's kind of like having a child makes you grow up instantly, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, they say that a mom instantly gets connected with her baby when she's growing the baby inside of her and she's pregnant and going through the different stages. And they say a dad becomes a dad the first minute that he holds that baby, and it changes their life. I don't know if that's the case for everyone, because there are definitely some deadbeat dads out there. But I think for Jovi, it might have been the case. I do want to say one thing, though. As far as Yara and Jovi, it was kind of a little annoying, like Kempire said, to tell nothing, because we know for Yara and Jovi, Mike and Natalie, and Brandon and Julia, we weren't going to get a whole lot of information considering they're currently filming the new series. So they're almost done filming it, from what Max said. They weren't going to share. And that kind of gave us a lackluster tell-all, because nobody cared about this storyline. No one cared.
Oh, God.
We're so done with, honestly, Rebecca was sitting up there like the OG, and she was so, well-versed.
OG, close your legs when you're sitting down. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, you can't say that. Can you say that?
Lily said it, but I'm being kinder. I'm not assuming anything. She needs to learn how to sit. It was annoying.
Okay. Well, she also just had liposuction, so give the woman a break. She might have some awkward sitting. Listen, sometimes when I walk, I look like a troll. So I'm all hunchback and like cocked over. We all have something. Maybe she just doesn't like to sit with her legs closed. She might be a different. You never know.
I don't know.
ZIED likes it.
Yeah, ZIED is all about her.
She was relieved. Did you notice when they left? She was so relieved. Oh, you didn't get to talk a lot today, because she was happy her relationship wasn't under fire. It was everybody else but hers.
Yeah, so but it also makes her less interesting and makes their relationship less interesting, almost like we're closing a chapter. And if we're closing the chapter with that, there goes her paycheck.
Yeah. Do you guys think Jovi and Yara, they will film them getting married in Kiev? Is she from Kiev? Where is she from? I forgot.
I believe she is from Kiev, but
yeah.
I mean, possibly, because who else did they? Elizabeth Potthast and Andre.
Yeah,
they're interesting. Their whole family dynamic is so interesting. I'm not that interested. Huh?
The storylines are so fake with them. You can even tell in the
others I don't
season
like
of Happily Ever After, where the sister pushes her. It's like, this is all bull.
Yeah, but it's still enjoyable to watch. At least they're trying to get creative to keep us entertained.
I mean, so was Brittany and Yazin, and nobody was entertained by that fake storyline.
I was.
There's a.
I'm very invested in that storyline.
Were you?
I mean, a little bit. It gave me something to watch. I was like, okay, she's a mess. He's a mess.
Oh my gosh! Well,
I don't know.
Isn't she currently on the single life?
Yeah, she is.
She did something right. Around. I mean,
I miss Stephanie.
To be fair, she's from Palm Beach County, and I think a lot of us from Palm Beach County are hot messes. I feel like I know a ton of women like Brittany. I mean, I might be a woman like Brittany. I don't know. But, I can appreciate her hot messness. I just don't like when these cast members come on and they put on their producer caps and pretend like they know what the hell they're doing and trying to orchestrate these fake storylines. I think it's kind of bull. But one storyline that I didn't find to be fake, as I casually segue, would be this one.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What a picture.
I thought this was a legitimate storyline.
You're so shady, Adam.
That's not shady. I think they both look good here.
Before Adam are shady.
No, shady is this. This is not shady. I think that, Brandon and Julia, one, I have to say she brought it to the tell-all. She's constantly speaking her mind, and I know that that's that sort of Eastern European way, or even for her, she's Russian, right? So I know that is kind of how, and you don't want to group everyone together, but a lot of, in my experience, dealing with different people who are Russian, they're just very straightforward, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she is exactly the same way of how I would picture her to be. She's very straightforward. She says what she feels, and there were a few things that she didn't necessarily agree with. One, the polyamorous relationship. Two, plastic surgery. She's pretty much like, take your ass to the gym and stop getting nipped and tucked. And three, nope, I just have two. But the other one is that when it comes to Brandon and Julia, we learned in the first part of the tell-all, which didn't really phase into the second part, but we learned that she wasn't really a victim. She was offered an apartment before coming. She passed on it. She came onto the farm. She was asked to pretty much take over Brandon's responsibilities. That way, when he comes home from work, since she's sitting at home all day, he can spend time with her. And she didn't really want to sacrifice anything in that regard. So I really hope that it's kind of awful, but I hope that they have longevity on the show, because maybe that way they can afford an apartment and they can rake in some sort of paycheck. I don't know what else she would be doing here in the United States.
How unfair was that to his parents?
That's another couple I'm not too sure about for Happily Ever After, because I really started getting bored towards the end of this season with both of those couples. So it's hard for me to be excited about them. Look, and that's why I can appreciate an Andre and Libby, because at least they're giving us something in regards to the whole family dynamic and the entire family. She has a huge family that we can, as a cast of characters. I'm just not that interested. I'm probably a little bit more interested in Brandon and Julia because of their parents.
Okay. I want to bring this up really quick. Thank you so much, Tammy, for the super chat. And then also I see another one here. Dear Dana, sending love to all. How is Pops doing? Thank you, Dana. Pops is doing, let me bring it back up. Pops is doing fine. I talked to him yesterday. He had a few strokes. He's navigating not smoking and not having his medication. So he just said that the golden years suck last time I talked to him. So he's still good though, but he's witty. You know what I mean? He's still that fun, light-spirited. He's just such a smart aleck sometimes. And he kept saying to me, like, I miss all of my subscribers and the people that I deal with on your channel. So he asked me if he can come back on Friday. We're going to have to wait and see how he feels. I even told him we could potentially cut it to 30 minutes. Yeah, I miss Pops too, especially because it's always a great cause. We come on, he gives the first 3 to 5 minutes in educating something about, you know, what's going on with the vets currently or how you can utilize your benefits or gain access to them. And then we, you know, give 100% of the proceeds back to our vets. So I think it's a great show, and I'm hoping if it's not this week, I'm hoping by next week. It seems like
I miss my summer house, buddy.
Yeah, he's honestly the best. I was talking to him the other day, and I had to show him the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills trailer. And as he's trying to watch it, he's like, "Why is this thing muted? I don't know how to work this." And I said, "Hold on, Pops." I had to call my Uncle Kyle, who's taking care of Pops with my Aunt Cherie. They're doing an amazing job with him. And I had to call Kyle and be like, "Kyle, can you please go play the trailer for Pops?" And he's like, "This damn thing," you know, but he watched it and he's like, "Wow, Erica's going down." I said, "Pops, that's for another day. We'll have to save it for another time." But yes, she is probably going down.
About 90 Day Fiance, I feel like producers have to stop to produce because I feel like they were unfair to the parents. They made them seem like they're crazy farmers. And when Julia, she was
those parents made themselves seem crazy.
Yeah, but they added to that. You know, I feel like if they show things as they are, it's really interesting.
Oh, they show things how they are.
They change.
They have crickets in the kitchen that are just living in a trash can. Which I'm not trying to talk smack because they are farmers, so it's just a different way of life. They also prefer that you get naked inside of this little cesspool of a hot tub, which I find to be disgusting, that the whole family is just double dipping in their own water. And the mom's controlling. She's controlling because that's her baby, and I'm not a mom, so I don't know what that looks like. And you know, I think our parents are all controlling in their own little ways, but it seemed like she was having a really hard time letting go of her baby. It's like, this man is 27, 28 years old. Man up. It's okay. Cut the cord, sis. It's okay.
It's her only child.
Okay. You have a whole farm.
Julia?
You have puppies. You have chickens. You have crickets. I mean, Julia needs to also, what is the saying? It's the S or get off the pot. That's what she needs to do. She needs to get a job. Get a job. Because when you have a relationship, especially like them, where he's working his ass off and then coming home and having to participate on his family's farm, and she's just kind of hanging around to the wayside, and she's like, "Oh, Brandon, you never get me tea, and you don't do this, and you don't do that." It's like, well, who wants to have 2 jobs and then a third job being his wife, who he's trying to support and do everything he can, even though he's a little insensitive sometimes. But yeah, I don't necessarily understand. I do feel like, though, the same way that Debbie plays a role in Colty's storylines, I think that the parents kind of bring a little bit more of an interesting kind of Looney Tune dynamic to Brandon and Julia. And watching Julia have to navigate that too, I think that's why they got picked up for another season. But who knows if they'll get a third one. We'll have to see how they play out this one. You say they will or they won't?
But isn't that telling about Julia?
What'd you say?
Isn't it telling about Julia not staying there with all these conditions? I would be out. I would be under a bridge.
I would have taken the crap apartment. And this is my thing when it comes to the apartment. Yeah. We all have different standards of living. Just to be fair, Yara was such a prude when she came into the apartment that Jovi got. And I thought that apartment was beautiful. Sure, it was smaller, but it was brand new. The kitchen was beautiful. The space was nice and clean. What more do you want? You're in a starter home. You're in a starting relationship. Do you think that you're going to be staying at the Ritz or living at Versailles? I'm not quite sure what the mindset is here. Yeah, Versailles. I mean, some of these women are like, woohoo, like they're a little off their rock. Or would you rather stay at home in the kitchen with the crickets? Pick your poison, sis.
And I'm sure that apartment wasn't as bad as she was making it out to be. Come on now.
Is it any different than living on a farm? You know what I mean? I'm not saying because you live on a farm, it necessarily has to be dirty. But what we do know is that You know, they have all these puppies that they sell. They have the animals. They have to clean up after the feces. I don't even want to use that word, but they have to. I mean, it's just I'm sure there's a certain stench that comes with that. They have the parents who are constantly hovering over the rooms, making sure they're not doing things that they're not supposed to.
And you've got buckets in your room.
Come on, what's worse? I would rather honestly, you could send me to the double wide. I would take a double wide before I would live at home with Brandon's parents any day.
I really wish we would have gotten to see that apartment.
Yeah, I think that they should have shown it too. I just also, another thing that was a little annoying at the beginning of the season, if we kind of circle back when it comes to Brandon and Julia really, really convinced us at the very beginning that, again, she was a victim. And she was like, you know, Brandon did not tell me anything. I did not know none of this. I didn't know I was coming to live on a farm. Why he not tell me this? It's like,
I don't believe that.
You did. Well, we found out on the tell-all.
I don't believe that.
Did know that. She did know. So the fact that you knew, why are you playing this up unless producers made her? Though. You think producers made her?
Maybe production told her to do that, yeah. And there's another thing. I feel like the vision as people who live outside the United States, we don't get to see people living. That's not the stereotypical American life. It is promoted outside the US. We all see, no, I'm serious. Like we don't see on films or whatever, we see all homes like they're clean, you know, white picket fence kind of. That's what's mainly promoted outside. So
that might have worked.
I never saw someone live like them.
No, that might have worked 10 years ago, but now we have this beautiful, fancy little feature called FaceTime. So the same way that Natalie pretended like she didn't know what she was getting herself into, and how she was like, you know, Mike's house is so disgusting and it's dirty and it's dark and it's cold. It's like, did you FaceTime him? Did you say, oh, show me the house where we're going to live? Did you ask what the outside of the house looks like? Did you not know that there were woods around? But maybe why? You're moving across the country. You don't ask what you're moving into. You just take a leap of faith.
I think, but you know what it is? I think it's one thing to see it on FaceTime and then actually be in it, to see how cold it is, to see that it's not near anything. I think in regards to Mike and Natalie, because I feel like that was probably a bigger cultural, you know, exposure for her, because she's going from living into a city to really being in the country, in the middle of the forest. In comparison to Julia and Brandon. And, you know, she didn't have any other options, Mike and Natalie. But Julia had other options. Yara and Jovi, look, Yara was just being a princess because she was in the middle of New Orleans in a one-bedroom apartment. She's lucky that it wasn't a studio.
I mean, to be fair, it's like, do you know how expensive New Orleans is? It's expensive as hell. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I want to talk about one other couple, though, that I don't know how I feel about how this whole situation went down on the tell-all. I kind of am team not this guy, just to be fair. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a hard to look at sort of man. He's a hard to look at sort of man. I obviously feel like what Max said, you know, when you compare Andrew to Amira, there's really no comparison. She traded down, he traded up, and he kind of comes off a little strange to me, but he wanted to sit on that floor and listen to exactly what Amira had to say. Amira said, I'm not giving him that satisfaction. But it kind of raised red flags, because why? Why not let him listen to what you have to say and listen to the pain that you went through and have to be exposed to it while you're saying it, and we can see his reactions to know whether or not it was true? It made it seem like the things that she was saying were not true. Now, we know that she was detained and we know that she went to Serbia. That was on film. But it doesn't necessarily make sense that she was like, I didn't get any text messages, no messages. And we were watching him at the resort in Mexico on WhatsApp, like blowing up her phone. We saw the messages on WhatsApp, unless it was a fake thread. Like number. That doesn't make any sense. And he was on the phone with her dad. So you're saying that he had no care, didn't send you not one message. And then she goes, well, barely messages. Okay, which one is it? There's a big difference.
You know, maybe sometimes not all messages get through. Believe it or not, I'm gonna blame it on technology. No, really. Sometimes not all of them go through. And here, I'm not going to be like. I feel like just the same way as you said about Julia. Like, ask for a FaceTime, this and that. Like, I would have asked the hard questions before like moving around the world to see a guy like him, who, by the way, I think has the same stylist as Giselle from Potomac.
Oh,
Who told him that he's
you're
gonna
shady.
look?
I mean, technically, this does look like her interior decor of her house.
Damn.
Well, I mean, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. He could kind of fit the aesthetic, but he really stuck to his guns and he said, I'm not going to be on here. I'm not going to participate in the tell-all. He put the nail in his coffin as far as his future on TLC by not participating and walking off set. But Amira kind of opened up the door for us to potentially see her in the future. I don't want to say she wasn't a victim, but she really played up that role. And she was acting like she's been emotionally and mentally so abused, which she may have been by this man. We don't know. We weren't a part of their relationship. We only know what we saw. And there was something that was off about what we saw. And now she's in love after making him sound like a complete ass for going on a dating site when she got the notification. But then she comes on and she goes, I'm in love. This is only months later, right? I mean, it might be right under a year later. So how in love are you? And that doesn't sound as bad as him going on a dating site.
This is where I become suspicious. This is where I become suspicious of Amira. First and foremost, did they only FaceTime from neck up? It's very disproportionate. She looks like a model. She looks like a freaking model.
They went out multiple times together.
I don't know. This is just proving I feel like, just to give basis to my suspicion, I feel like she came into the show to get clout because they were a mismatched couple from the get-go, you know? And I don't know. I just become like so cynical about production. I feel like they pick and choose what to show and what to not, to make people, if they're crazy, to look even crazier. And then we see, oh, everybody's crazy, you know? Just show all the crazy. I feel like there's more to this story. I'm not defending him because he grosses me out, but I feel like, come on, you have a mirror.
Cammie, thank you for the super chat. And Brianna Krennick said, love to your pops. I actually can't believe, I can't talk, but she can't believe that she feels bad for Andrew, which is interesting. Max did also point out, kind of a spoiler alert, that he said that Andrew only sat through one of the couples. I believe he said Mike and Natalie's insert. So he wasn't there for them talking to Tariq, Hazel, and Minty. He wasn't there for Brandon and Julia's part, Yara and Jovi's, or Rebecca and ZIED's. So he must have been in and out super fast. And that is just a clever play on editing, because from what we saw, he was there all the way until the second part of the tell-all, when really he might have been there for about 2 hours. Who actually knows?
Who knows?
And these are 2-hour filming days.
The tell-all is telling us nothing, just like Empire said.
The thing is, look, I don't think Amira is completely innocent. I get why production decided not to have Andrew be there, because if she's saying I'm going to have a physical reaction to his presence, look, we understand, especially if someone has allegedly been abused emotionally, physically, whatever it may be, seeing someone, even if they're far away, hearing their voice can be very triggering. Let's not act like that doesn't play a role. Is she playing it up for TV? Very possible, but production did not want to be liable for something like that. And I get it. That would not look right, especially in 2021, having that play out on television.
Well, no, because she's kind of like a woman who's obviously stressed out. So a woman in distress where this is obviously triggering for her in some capacity. So making her film through something like that, yeah, I can agree with you where that could be a huge liability.
And also, let's not forget about because I know a lot of people are making comments in regards to her saying she didn't receive any text messages and then saying barely. We have to also remember there's a language situation going on here. Just because she may have said, not at all, and then said barely, could be just her trying to find the right words in English for us to understand. We have to remember probably her first spoken language is French. So she's trying to figure out the English words for us to understand. So we have to consider that as well.
So Kempire is pretty much saying anyone who's jumping down Amira's throat right now, stop being an ass. That's fair.
Look, and I'm not defending Amira and her corset that she wore on the.
I like the corset. I thought she looked the best on the tell-all. I mean,
she did, but it was very like, whoa! Did not expect this look.
She came to show out. She's like, look what you're missing.
but I don't want you to see me.
But I don't want you to see me.
She wants longevity in the show, let me tell you. And maybe this is why the production catered to her ask not to have Andrew there while she's talking, because they can totally see her. We've seen this before with this person didn't work. It might work with someone else. And she might be, maybe someone going to her from here, from the United States. Can you imagine her DMs? Like, she's gorgeous.
I mean, also, it was kind of funny to see, and this was, they got shade from all across the room. Well, she did. As soon as she said, "I'm in love," and they were all like, "Where's he from? Where's he from?" And ZIED said it, Rebecca said it, Julia said it, Yara, and she's like, "US," and then they were all like, "Haha, you're just trying to get your K1 visa." It's like, the hell are you all talking about? You go around the room talking about a K1 visa. Julia, for your K1 visa, you're working on the farm. Yara, you got pregnant, which is fair. So she actually, I think really believes that, they traveled the world, and she, I think, like Jovi, and, it's one of those classic cases of you try to fix someone who has broken issues, and his drinking might be one of those. And then Rebecca and ZIED's like, "Oh, where is he from?" It's like, look, dude, why are you here? Because we know that, I mean, I'm not going to rip into him, but we know that a lot of people on that floor are there for a K1 visa. I'm not saying that's always the case. It's not always the case, but for the fact that they all immediately passed judgment and started making fun, I was looking at Rebecca like, "Girl, you've done this twice now. You've done it twice. So why are you throwing shade at her?"
Yes. She has no moral.
Married two other guys.
She has no moral to speak on anyone, or even doubt ZIED if she ever has this doubt or someone doubts her. She has no moral ground for that. I feel like from after the Tell Nothing was over, it's the only person that wants the K1 really to be official was Natalie, because anyone on their right mind wouldn't want to get married with Michael, and obviously she wanted that marriage be official more than he did. She just was here on a mission. I came here, I want to get married, and she knows the stipulation. She's no dumb tool on the shed. She's not. She's smart. She must have educated herself. Her friend in Seattle must have told her, "Listen, even if you don't stay together, as soon as you get married, he's hooked, period. He cannot deport you. He cannot deport you." So, and this is what she's playing on.
I think that, obviously Ava Young, she's on the kind of same train that you are. I believe Natalie just came for a green card. She does believe she's high and mighty. Why marry Mike if she didn't trust him? She begged for the ring and then didn't wear it. Okay.
Yeah, we just backtrack a little bit in regards to people, trying to scam their way into America. Remember, Amira is in France. Look, if people really understood the benefits of living in France, you're not going to be running to America, especially when you don't have health insurance. So, yeah, people have perspectives. I understand in other countries, but no, I wouldn't leave France. I'm trying to get into France. Damn it. Especially when you have you're not coming here for doppelganger who's running a little nursery and pre-K school out of his mom's house. Like, that's not. I wouldn't sign up for that. Just to be fair.
I think Amira wanted to be on TV.
Well,
I can see that.
Amira wanted to be on TV, not from the United States.
Stephanie wanted to be on TV, so maybe that's the case. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how I feel about it. And there's one other couple that I really don't know how I feel about, but Tariq and Hazel. Tariq made a good point. All of these other couples around the floor, they all have their problems, and they're a bunch of 1-2-somes.
3 is the magic number.
An off and on threesome, yeah. But to be fair, there are so many hardships that come with being in a polyamorous relationship. One person is enough personality to deal with, let alone having 2 people to deal with. And you can't have an insecure party within the relationship. And Hazel is so incredibly insecure when it comes to when it comes to inviting and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I would be insecure with inviting a third party into my relationship. It would never happen because I would always be like, the hell are you two talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I would always be like on guard and have like my ears up. I wouldn't want that sort of relationship, and I couldn't handle it. And I don't think she can handle it either. I think that she eventually wants to be with a woman. And I think Tariq, this allows him to have or maintain his sort of party boy ways where someone can come to and from, and he's not tied down for the rest of his life to one woman as long as his one woman wants other women. So it kind of makes it fun and exciting.
And he's done it before, he admitted during
She
his
was jealous.
She was very jealous. And I think the Minty woman is right too. She's like, why can't we have a friendship? I'm in Thailand. Like, what is the big deal? And Hazel's like, no comment. I don't have anything to say to you. She was pretty much looking at her like, bitch, do not look at me or talk to me. I am done with your ass. Look away.
We also discovered during this Tell Nothing that they were never physically involved. Minty and
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. Oh,
I don't believe that at all. I think that
the way
they're trying. They made like a pact to. Hazel might have even said that like that's not something I want to talk about. Like I don't want my family in the Philippines to know about. That I've taken it that far. I think I just want to ease them into it, knowing that I like girls, but I've not been sexually involved with the girl. I think that Minty respected Tariq enough to take that decision and kind of run with it and give us that false narrative. But there's no way that you're all three shacking up together and nobody is playing around at all. I don't believe that.
The looks. It was very like.
Yeah.
I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go ahead.
Or just devil. The thing is, in regards to Hazel being insecure, originally that's what I thought. I thought she's just being insecure when it comes to Minty. But watching the Tell Nothing, I'm sort of like, okay, I just don't think she likes Minty. You never know. She might get along very well with another woman and be very okay with this throuple situation.
She needs a lesbian woman who does not want to come in and infringe on her relationship with Tariq. She needs a woman who looks at him and she's like, hey, dude, not like one that she has to worry about kind of hooking up and taking her place as HBIC in the house. That's not going to work for her.
Minty during 90 Day Beersall admitted that she was first in love and had a relationship with Tariq. I think that's why Hazel is so threatened by Minty. It has nothing really to do with this throuple situation. I think it's because Minty is definitely more invested in Tariq. God only knows why.
I mean,
and as long as she's the one who picks, she has no problem. She doesn't want Tariq to pick. She's the one who brings the other girl. So, yeah.
All right. Well, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. As we wrap this up, I just want to go around and I'll start with our famous K1 Visa rep first, Miriam. What would you say was the biggest shocker or biggest takeaway from the second part of the tell-all, if any?
There was none, to be honest with you. It was boring. I will retract my statement in last week when I said I wish it would. I think I misspoke when I said I want like Robin to start with a couple and finish the whole story instead of chopping it up. It's not that I don't like the others chiming in. Do that in front of the others. Let them chime in, but let us have like the story, not chopped up. Like I hate when she goes, okay, let's go back to Michael and Natalie. Oh, let's move back. Why do that? Just to start with a couple and finish it. Let everybody give their like 50 cents or less, because at this point I feel like nobody has the right to talk about anyone. I missed Stephanie. She left a void. Yeah. She really did. She is great TV. I watched her live. It was extremely entertaining, the visuals, and she admitted that she came to the show mainly because of the promoting her business, which she did. So she is laughing all the way, cashing the checks to the bank. So the joke is on us.
She's laughing all the way to the bank, and we're laughing at her. So I guess it just worked out both ways.
Well, yeah, but she's getting money. I think some people don't care. They make a mockery of themselves. Look at Big Ed.
Big Ed is actually the biggest. Well, no pun intended, but he is the biggest one as far as like making a mockery of himself. He posts these ridiculous graphics and art sketches that people put out there. They make him look like a little troll, and he lives for it. He's like, yeah, guys, Big Ed wear. Huh. It's like, oh my God, this guy is a nut.
He is making money. He's making money.
He's making money. And I know Rebecca quit her fast food restaurant job for social media, but I wonder what the future, her future looks like as far as social media if she's not going to be on a show. Yeah. Oh gosh, no, thank you. All right, Kempire, what was your biggest takeaway? No,
I agree with Miriam that Stephanie's tell all that actually deserves to tell all was far more interesting. Part 1 and part 2 were far more interesting than this. Also, we had no commercials with hers, but I think they should have allowed her to be a part of it. I know litigation. Sidebar: I hear that Stephanie likes to sue, allegedly.
Well, that could be a huge red flag.
Oh, I love her. She should be.
I still don't even know what was her business. I forgot what her business was.
I thought it was something with like
spa. It's Botox and stuff.
It's like Medi Spa. Yeah, it's
it
like
got featured once. Okay, girl.
Hey, on a huge network.
This is true.
I need Botox.
But overall, the tell all, I'm glad it was just an hour. I'm glad we can move on to Happily Ever After. I'm over Mike and Natalie, and I'm over Brandon and Julia, and I'm over Yara and Jovi. I will watch them Happily Ever After and drop in on your live and tell you if I've changed my mind. But so far, no.
Okay, that's fair. And I think my biggest takeaway was, I guess, finding out about Amira's new man. And I kind of want to see what the future looks like for Amira. But in the meantime, she doesn't have a feature on the show until they pick her up for something else. So as of right now, we won't be seeing her back. But that doesn't mean that couldn't change.
Before the 90 days.
Before the 90 days. Yes. And with that, I mean, yeah, it was kind of a tell nothing, but it's okay. That's what we got. And now we can move on. We can close the chapter of this season and we can go to Happily Ever After. Finally. That's how I feel.
This threesome tell all that we had did more than yesterday. Like,
see? Look at that.
We're talking here.
My gosh. Well,
we are.
I do, as always, I appreciate both of you, our famous K1 Visa rep and also Kempire. Before we go, Miriam, can you let us know where we can find you?
Well, I'm still not paid by Monique. I will change that. I will change to my name. At this point, everybody knows my name is Miriam, but I promise I will, as long as we're talking about 90 days, this is going to be my new name. So,
okay, yeah, K1 Visa rep.
I'm going to be the K Visa. I have experience. I am someone who used it to come here. And people give some humanity and maybe more compassion towards those coming here. Unfortunately, the majority of the good people that come here, they don't make the cut to the show, which is unfortunate, but we're watching.
All right.
And they find me following you and Kempire.
See?
They find me.
I like that.
You guys are.
We can find a positive out of this. And Kempire?
Everyone can follow me at the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. I'll be doing my 90-day Fiance recap later today. And you can follow me at the Kempire on all social media. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you both so much. And thanks for stopping by, guys. Make sure you go and check out their Instagrams, YouTubes, everything that they have going on. Both of you guys are absolutely entertaining. And I love seeing your content that you spit out. So I appreciate you guys joining me and you help me carry these lives. So thank you so much. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys. All right. And guys, also, if you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button. I'm dropping 2 other videos today. One is we know that Jax Taylor, Stassi Schroeder, Kristen Doty, Max Boyens, Brett, whatever the hell his last name is, and their spouses, they all got axed from Vanderpump Rules. But we just heard that one other cast member has decided either not to return or she was fired too. We don't necessarily know what happened, but I'm dropping a video on it because I want to let you guys know exactly who that is. Also, one of the Real Housewives of Orange County, one of the current housewives' ex-husband is now facing 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to a few felony charges that came his way. I'm sure you guys are familiar, but I'm dropping a video to talk about that as well. In the meantime, send all of your love and prayers to Pops. We hope he gets better. That way we can see him on Friday. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Bye, 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 bye.